Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. About 4 topics for this video. The first one, the Russian drones violating the Eastern Europe's airspace, NATO airspace. First, we had Poland, we're told. Second, we had Romania, we're told. Now we are told is even Latvia reports it. And we're going to hear the Russian response to that, especially to the Romanian protest. You know, they summoned the Russian ambassador and said, hey, you violated our airspace, and we had to scramble 2 American-made F-16s to chase that drone away. So that's the first topic. The second topic is Medvedev, that tough guy. He is going to give an answer. Again, the Russians said it before, but it seems like the Europeans are, hard-headed. They need a lot of knocking in order to understand that what they try to push, which is a no-flight zone over Ukraine, that is, we can hit your missiles and drones over Ukraine, but you cannot hit us. It's been like this forever. We can kick you, punch you, but you can't do it to us. The Medvedev says, anyone who does anything about our state-owned assets, we're gonna come and get you. All states in European Union. So he comes with a very, very stern, threat, warning, however you want to call it. And then we have the last subject here, which is, why is the European Union militarily considered weak? I think that there's someone else, another entity that wants to keep the European military or the military in Europe weak. You can say, well, it's the other way around. They don't want to invest. This is the narrative. They don't want to invest in their military because the Americans will defend them. Therefore, we have to invest in our arms manufacturing companies that, give campaign money to the politicians who after that will fight our wars. You got it? Or promote our defensive wars. So these are the topics for today. Let's start with the first one, and that is about the drone. The Russians said, and it's an analyst who says that, about the drone right here. This is coming from Sputnik. It's an analysis. So it comes from an analyst. And I'm quoting, drone fall in Poland staged to push anti-Russian measures. Now, I said it could be or maybe not. We don't know yet. That's the fact. We do not know yet. We have some evidence. We see some drones, but I don't know who manufactured those drones, who launched them, and we see only who received them and who downed them very heroically. So the recent drone affair in Poland was clearly a provocation orchestrated with Ukraine's assistance, political analyst Petr Kolchin told Sputnik. So let's see what Mr. Kolchin has to say. Ukraine has been able to create, quote-unquote, media hype out of nothing, end quote. Before so, a new hoax should be easy for the Ukrainian intelligence services, he suggested. The provocation creates a new pretext to pile pressure on Russia. And okay, what is your evidence? Let's go and see. Poland is reluctant, this is the evidence. Poland is reluctant to conduct a proper investigation of the incident to avoid uncovering inconvenient facts that might undermine the anti-Russia narrative pushed by Brussels, the analyst suggested. Kolchin compared the situation to Europe's reaction to the Nord Stream bombing, another case EU member states do not seem keen to solve. Well, it is concerning, let's put it in their words, and comprehensive, that the Poles do not say, you know what, as I said in my previous videos, hey, they did it, we defended ourselves, international investigation. I will admit Russian investigators, Icelandic investigations, Zimbabwean investigators, Chinese, Indian, American, I would bring them all. Because the facts are so clear and undeniable that here it is, man. I said this yesterday. It's a pubic hair. No, I'm just kidding. So that's what I would do. The same thing as the Germans, the evil Nazis. Remember the evil Nazis? Maybe you're not familiar with what they did in Katyn forest. Well, it was not the Nazis who did it. It was the Soviet commissars. Do you know who the Soviet commissars are? Some of them are still in charge of countries, like, I don't know, Ukraine, I'm just saying. And they killed about 15,000 Polish officers, military officers, intelligentsia. They destroyed it, they cut it off. Why? So they can come with their propaganda and think that the Poles will just eat it raw. And some of them did, some of them didn't. And then when the front came back, when the Barbarossa operation started, and the evil Germans pushed the Soviets back, and they discovered the Katyn forest massacre, mass massacre, done by the Soviet commissars. That was pointed out by the Poles themselves, cooperating with the Germans. They told them, here's the Katyn. They unearthed it and said, okay, wait. They called of the Red Cross, American investigators, everyone. This is the evil Nazis. They said, everyone come over here. We're going to unearth it under your eyes. And it was reported. It was done by the Soviets, by the commissars, hitting them in the back, about 15,000 Polish officers, as I said, intelligentsia and commands and so on. But you know that was blamed on the Nazis after the Second World War, even though they knew about it. They knew because of these investigators. They shushed up only in 1991, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. They said, oh, the Soviet archives open. I said, well, it was the Soviets, man. It was the commissars. It was not the Nazis. But from 1945, since they started yapping about that, until 1991, we all knew Katyn forest occurred because the Nazis killed it, the massacre. It was a lie. And the Westerners, they knew that. They had the media over there. They had to investigate. I don't think they have investigated. I think they had, as I said, from the Red Cross, neutral, and from the Western media. They knew it and they lied. Right? So here we have, in this case, this guy says, man, if it's an investigation, you Poles with the balls and democratic and free and strong and, you know, all these beautiful Western values, you should allow everybody to come in. It's a slam dunk investigation. You just show the drones, we look all of us at it. There's no doubt. You can show us the trajectory from, I don't know, from the satellite that's recorded, where they were launched, where they landed, and so on. You can see the trajectory of the drone coming, no, don't you? And you can provide evidence. And the other guy is going to provide counter-evidence. But it's going to be in the open. This is what that person, as I said as well, yesterday and the day before, why don't they just allow the investigation, man, all of them? And that's exactly what happened with Nord Stream pipelines. Everybody stop, only we investigate. And if you remember, I gave you this example. Let's say one of my children does something bad. And then the police comes and say, hey, we need to arrest your child. You know, we have here a warrant and it's going to be judged in front of a court. And I say, no, I will investigate my child. Our family will investigate my child. We're not going to allow you. What do you think? My child will be found guilty in the real world? No, of course not. In the imaginary world that these guys have been selling us since infancy, yes, justice for all. Fuck off. All right, move to the next one. So let's see the Russian response to the Romanian protest. This comes from Sputnik. Russia dismisses Romania's baseless and contrived drone protest. That means go do the plimba ursuma, go and walk the bear somewhere outside 6 hours ago. So, not a single concrete or convincing answer was provided to any of the questions regarding the identification of the drone allegedly violating Romanian airspace, Russian ambassador to Bucharest Oleg Lipaev stated on Telegram. The Romanian Ministry of Defense, and I'm quoting, detected another UFO in the sky over the country on September 13 and quickly announced that it was a Russian drone, end quote. Russia's embassy in Bucharest emphasized in a statement on Telegram. Accordingly, on September 14, the Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs summoned the Russian ambassador to express strong protest. And I'm quoting, in the absence of objective confirmation of the aircraft's national affiliation, the Romanian protest was dismissed as baseless and contrived, noted the Russian embassy. So what happened? The Russians, they attack, obviously, the Ukrainians daily. During one of these attacks, one UFO, unidentified object, flying, okay, unidentified flying object, UFO, was so observed by the air defenses and the radars in Romania as coming from Ukraine. And this guy said that's it's a Russian drone. That's how they identified. They said it. And the Russian says, how do you identify it? Maybe it was a Ukrainian one to create a hysteria. And then the Romanians were allowed by the Americans to fly their F-16s, there being the American F-16s. You remember, no F-16 takes off without Pentagon's approval, unless the Venezuelans have it. All right, so what's going on? And then they went over there, and the drone went back to Ukraine. The F-16s did not hit it, so they can see it was the Romanian Air Force did not hit it in order to see and identify the drone. They can provide whatever evidence they want. They take a drone from Ukraine, put it over there, and say that's it. A down drone. Can they do that? No, they won't. Again, we have the real world. Yes, they will do that with no problem. Or the imaginary world that we were fed since we were children. Don't lie, be honest, follow the rules, follow the law, and they over there don't give a shit. All right? If you don't think that's the way it is, give yourself until you get about maybe 40. And if you, by 40, 45 years old, you don't get it, and you say, that baboon was right about it, then I don't know, you give it to 50 and 55, and if you didn't get it by 55, I don't know, you're a lost cause. Or maybe I'm wrong. All right, let's go. Next one. And look what happened here, man. Not only Poland, Romania, we have Lithuania. And read this, pay attention to this headline coming from Ukrainska Pravda, from the Ukrainians. Listen to this. Lithuania, who's Lithuania? A country. The government, you mean? Okay. Lithuania suspects its own defense ministry could have concealed fact of Russian drone incursions. So you're telling me that your department, like the police department, conceals evidence to a judge or to the city that we've been attacked? Why would they conceal it, and based on what kind of law? What's the, how should I call it, chain of command here? I thought the defense ministry is under the government's, the president's authority, isn't it? Or the prime minister, because it's part of the government. I don't know exactly how in Lithuania that works, but I know how it works in the United States of America, and I know how it works in Romania. Presidential, how do you call it, government, and so on. For instance, in Romania, you have Trump, the president, being in charge of the government, not the prime minister. We don't have a prime minister. We have a vice president who just, make sure he carries Trump's balls, okay, wherever he goes. So I'm just kidding. So you have a president, but let's say in Romania is the prime minister. The prime minister forms the government, and the departments are under his, or the ministries called in Romania, they are under the prime minister's authority. But doesn't matter. It's the government, and is someone in charge of the government, president or prime minister, one of the two, or king in some, or maybe a dictator, or whatever you want, a tyrant right there. And this department, supposedly, they did not tell the president, sir, we've been attacked by our... Why? Now they put it together because it's the time of hunting witches? I think that's what it is. All right? Now it's about hunting them. So everybody, I'm waiting now for Estonia and Latvia. I'm going to show you where these guys are located, so you have no doubt of that. So here it is. I'm going to show you the map, okay? We got this guy, Salius Pakapukusk, former Speaker of Lithuanian Parliament, has stated that the Committee on National Security and Defense will soon investigate whether Russian drones violated Lithuanian airspace. At the same time, dozens entered Poland. Now, the German media outlet Bild previously reported that drones may have entered Lithuanian territory last week. So how in the hell Bild from Germany knew that the drones might have entered, but the government did not know? Now they start investigations because the Bild in Germany got the information from Lithuanian military? What's going on here? Oh, these guys from Build are very good investigators, aren't they? No bullshit. But let me show you the map, and just so you know who's who, what's what, okay? Okay. Here it is, the map of the Earth. So we're talking about Europe, right? So this is Ukraine. This is the baboons in Romania right here, and this is the baboons in Poland. So here the drones, the Russian drones, came and they ended up here in center Poland, past Warsaw. They didn't hit Warsaw, they didn't have explosives anyway. The Romanians claim the drone hit in this area right here by the Danube rivers flowing into the sea, right there. And then you have the Lithuanians. The Lithuanians are right here. Now, to get to Lithuania, you have to cross Belarus, or you cross... Oh, I did that. I don't want that. You cross Latvia right here, or Estonia. These are the Baltic states. Total population, 6.1 million people. Never forget that. It matters. When you hear Lithuania, the Baltic states wanting to fight Russia, remember, they don't want to fight Russia with their own 6.1 million people, baboons over there. They want the Americans and others to fight for them, or maybe the Ukrainians. We're about what? We're about 53 million after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and now they're like 37 or something. Not even. So let's go back there. So these baboons right here, they claim a drone came over, Red Rover, as it came supposedly right here. So I'm waiting for what? I'm waiting for Latvia, I'm waiting for Estonia, and then we move on. Maybe Germany, maybe, I don't know, Slovakia. Hungary and Slovakia will say nothing because they are Putin's guys, right? Right. All right, let's go to the next topic. And why is Europe, or the European Union, weak, right? Why is it weak? I mean, the European Union, we're told, is Western Europe, advanced, right? Industrial, technologically innovative, and so on, right? Is very rich. Everybody wants to come to West. United States, Canada, Australia, you know, Western Europe mainly, and so on. Why? Because they are rich bitches, but somehow they don't have a good military. But the Russians have. But the Russians are not rich. How is that working? Oh, they took from their Russian citizens the taxes and they invested in the military. Is that how it goes? I would like you to go to the budgets of France, Great Britain, Italy, Germany, and you find out, no, the how do you call it? The Russians had $68 billion allocated 2 years ago. Now they got to more than that, about 80 something. Almost as Ukraine nowadays, coming from the West. Got that? And look how much got Great Britain, France, and others in Europe. But they don't have, they say we can't fight Russia. And this is what it says. Europe is still far from having strength to keep Russia at bay, says Estonian Prime Minister. Why is it Estonia is still far from developing the military strength necessary to keep the Kremlin at bay? So this Prime Minister of Estonia has 1.3 million people. 24% of the Estonian population is Russian. 23 or 24 I think it is. So 24 is Russian. You know what it is? 1 in 4 is a Russian. That's why they don't want these guys to really vote, if you know what I mean. And Estonia with 1.3 million, I gave him 1.3, I think it's 1.2 something. Anyway, I'm generous this morning, all right? So 1.3, they said that we are weak, Europe is weak. No, you are weak. You are very weak. We are 0 actually. But let's say, why are you weak, homie? And this is the goal, to get the arms manufacturing from the United States of America, not from Europe, to develop the military. Who kept them weak, according to these guys? Who kept them weak? This guy. Let me show you where Estonia is, so we don't have, a doubt again. And I showed you already, but hey, better twice than none. Here it is. This Estonia is this little country right here by the Gulf of Finland, in the Baltic Sea, by St. Petersburg. This is Estonia. This is Russia border right here, okay? So these guys right here said, we should fight the Russians, but we can't. We need all of you. Why are these guys weak? I would claim that they are weaker than Russia at their own accord. Why? I think because they are owned by the United States of America militarily, economically, financially, if you want, politically, and culturally. That means they're going to change your identity. You don't know who you are. They can import whatever they want in your countries. And they will fondle your women a little bit because you're incapable. And you say, yeah, that's okay. Well, man, love is love. Okay, good job. And then after that, Europe will be the same. After about 60 years, Europe would look like other parts of the world. And we all the same. It's not going to look the same. Namibia, Zimbabwe, my friends. And why not, actually, right? Because we form the same kind of civilization. We all do, okay? And if you eliminate the world's evil, the oppressors, the global oppressors, you're going to have only the peaceful part of the world, which everybody else was just live their historical, whatever, identities in peace and happiness. Nobody fought with anybody until these guys showed up from Europe. Then everybody was on, my God, how much evil comes from these guys. So don't worry. So the Europeans were owned by those guys. That's why they don't have militaries. They have Rheinmetall and other arms manufacturing companies, the Germans. And I know the Czechs have, and the French have, the Brits have. But you hear about the Americans arming the Europeans. Europeans getting money, loans from international banking systems to buy those guys from here weapons, because the Europeans, they don't have the ingenuity, innovation, and I can find the word, in order to create and weapons and build them, because they're poor or something. But the Russians are what? Russia has 145 million people. Europe is much greater than that, like 3 times at least, 450 million or more. And they don't have what? I mean, take Great Britain, 60 million, Germany, 80 million, France, 60 million. You just got these three guys are more than Russia right there, 3 countries. With economies, but they don't have a military. They can't fight the Russians. Why? Buy our weapons. You got that? And then when you buy our weapons, maybe we will allow you to fight for us, the Russians, with your nations. And after you're going to have the man fighting the war against the Russians, you need an infusion of big to help. And that's how you change the structure and the composition of people. And who cares, man? Those guys did us wrong, if you know what I mean. So if they did us wrong in the past, we have to take care of them as a payback. After all, they still celebrate the Passover, the killing of the Egyptian children by our good God, right? Or your good God, however you want to look at it. Good and bad. All right, remember, they still celebrate Passover. That's the killing of babies in Egypt. You understand what's going on over there? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.